Thank you everyone for attending our virtual annual meeting. What a year. We know that this is not our normal way to celebrate together. However, to keep our staff and members safe, we felt that this was the best way to share information and be transparent with our operations. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name is John Kleven, current president of Beaver Creek Reserve Friends Board. COVID-19 hit Beaver Creek really hard, starting with our French toast breakfast in the beginning of March. Since then, we've had to cancel all field trips, events, and summer camps, leaving a lot of lost revenue from the year. Beaver Creek was fortunate to receive $96,700 from a PPP loan through the Federal CARES Act, as well as several other grants from organizations around the community that supported the organization, as well as making cuts to the expenditures and some temporary layoffs to help balance funds. The staff has also shared with the board of directors a decision model that ranked over 100 tasks that they identified and could work on during the closure and the rest of the summer. We were impressed with the list of tasks that have been completed during this time. Many of these tasks would not have been able to be completed if the normal year's activities would have happened, making Beaver Creek even better prepared for when business goes back to normal. Implementing a new comprehensive software package, dozens of maintenance tasks that were long overdue, and the creation of 2 hours of naturalist videos on YouTube are all outcomes of the staff staying busy with meaningful work in this uncertain time. The board feels like Beaver Creek will come out stronger than before COVID-19 started. Beaver Creek is fortunate to have an endowment, and that gave us the knowledge that we could continue to connect people with nature even though we had lost most of our revenue. We've managed our expenses, and as a result, feel as a board that we can raise enough funds for Beaver Creek to come out positive by year end. Knowing that 2021 remains unpredictable, we've set a goal of raising $200,000 to cover this year's deficit and the anticipated deficit in 2021. If 2021 turns out to be less uncertain than we predicted, we'll still be able to reinvest the donations into the endowment for future improvements for Beaver Creek. Please consider a donation to help us this year. Thank you all for joining me. Next word from Mark.
Thanks, John, and thank you for being members of Beaver Creek Reserve, even during this strange, weird year. My name is Mark Wise. I'm the treasurer of the Friends of Beaver Creek Reserve. As John mentioned, Beaver Creek, like many other organizations, have been financially impacted by COVID-19. Early this year, when the Friends Board realized that COVID-19 cancellations of all our camps and school groups were possible, we estimated a year-end loss of about $200,000. Erik, the staff, and the Friends Board have worked hard this year to reduce the potential $200,000 year-end loss by taking the following 3 actions. Number 1, by applying and receiving the Paycheck Protection Plan loan of about $97,000. This was used to pay staff wages, and once the paperwork is complete, this loan should become a grant. Number 2, miscellaneous grants. Beaver Creek Reserve has been working with other groups to get grants, and the grants were used to pay for wages and other operating expenses, which will help us continue to connect people with nature. Number 3, reduction of non-essential expenses. So after these 3 actions, the Friends Board is estimating a year-end loss of about $50,000. Even after considering this loss, the Friends of Beaver Creek Reserve are still very financially stable. Even after considering our year-end loss, the Friends of Beaver Creek Reserve is very financially stable. Our September 30th balance sheet shows total assets of about $2.8 million, most of which is in the endowment. We're anticipating traditional school field trips resuming next fall, but we are unsure if spring field trips or summer camps in 2021 will happen. Thankfully, our staff of naturalists have been working to create virtual field trips for our schools. That makes investing in Beaver Creek Reserve a safe bet, with your funds being used to create and implement new programs that will continue to connect people with nature in new and exciting ways. As John mentioned, the Friends Board and the Endowment are starting an exciting campaign to raise $200,000 to provide operating funds if COVID-19 results in a deficit again next year. In the spirit of investing in Beaver Creek and its mission of connecting people with nature, my wife Karen and I have personally made a $30,000 donation towards this $200,000 goal. I would like to challenge 10 of you to donate $20,000 towards this fund, which will continue the programming through 2021. Also, Beaver Creek Reserve would meet this goal if every member donated $10 a month. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support of Beaver Creek Reserve so we can continue with our great programs that connect people with nature. Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of our virtual annual meeting. What a year. After taking reservations and expanding our programming, 2020 was poised to be our biggest year yet. And even with all the changes, it still turns out that we've made a very big impact in our community. Hi, my name is Erik Keisler, and I've been the Executive Director for the past 8 years. I appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy lives to hear from our board and share in all the triumphs and tribulations of 2020 so far. Beaver Creek was shut down due to the safer-at-home orders in March, right after French toast breakfast was canceled. There was confusion and fear as to what was going to happen and what could happen. As we reflect back, I could not be prouder of the staff for adapting to the changes and completing our mission in so many ways. Even when we were closed from March to May, the naturalists started sharing their videos. The parking lot was full, and the trails were packed with people getting rid of spring fever. Then we had amazing successes with our Earth Week Challenge and our native plant sale. We have plans to make these programs even bigger next year, thanks to the success we had doing them even with social distance restrictions this spring. Despite a very competitive year, in some cases grantors receiving 8 times the applications, Beaver Creek still received grants from Excel, Nordson Foundation, and the Eau Claire Community Foundation. These funds are going to help build a new butterfly house in 2021 and help release our new junior naturalist program that we are going to expand over the winter. Even though our virtual camps didn't go over as well as we had hoped, our naturalists are currently working with local schools to create virtual field trips with great results. In fact, we have received several accolades from parents and other community members on how great all of our virtual lessons have been. Lastly, I want to thank all the people who followed the social distance rules and visited us at the Butterfly House this summer, or rented kayaks or other recreational equipment. We've actually seen a huge increase in new members as a result of all the people looking for something safe to do during the quarantine, and we're thankful for everyone's support. I cannot predict the future of Beaver Creek next year, but I know that we are only going to grow stronger as an organization. If you have not been out to see us, I understand, but I can't wait to have all of our friends back out and utilizing Beaver Creek when it is safe. Thank you again for your support during this unprecedented time. Please consider making a donation and help us reach our endowment goal, and please renew your memberships for 2021. Thank you all.
Thank you for joining us for the virtual annual meeting. What a year. COVID-19 has turned our lives upside down and has also affected many programs at Beaver Creek Reserve, as explained by Erik, John, and Mark in their talks. My name is Jim Murray, and I'm the chair of the Beaver Creek Reserve Endowment Committee. Marty Voss has assumed the role of vice chair, and we thank him for his many years of service to the committee. Denny Shea has assumed the role of treasurer. As mentioned, COVID-19 has really impacted the operations of Beaver Creek. We lost most of our summer revenue as camps and Butterfly Fest couldn't be held. We're lucky to have the Endowment Fund to assist financially through these difficult times. The endowment currently has a balance of $1,936,000. This balance includes donor restricted funds of $457,000, which cannot be spent to help support operations. This leaves approximately $1,479,000 of unrestricted funds that can be used to support operations. In the past, the committee has tried to use the endowment fund sparingly. The original goal of the endowment was to get to a balance whereby the earnings would support the salaries. As Erik mentioned in his talk, he has taken steps to reduce expenditures and has used the PPP stimulus money to help cover expenses through part of the summer. He and his staff have come up with creative ways to enhance the member experience through this difficult time. If need be, the committee is prepared to use funds to cover the operational deficit that may occur this year and next. What I'm asking of you at this difficult time is to consider a donation to the endowment to help us through these difficult financial times. You're all aware that we're trying to raise $200,000 to cover the deficits from this year and the next year if conditions don't improve. To that end, we've already raised $33,000, and if every member was able to donate $120 or just $10 a month, we could reach our goal. We know this isn't possible for every family, so please keep us in mind when looking at your budget and consider a donation of whatever you can. This leads me to another topic that helps support Beaver Creek. Our Giving Tree program is for designating Beaver Creek Reserve in your will or estate plan and leaving a gift upon your death. These gifts provide a lasting memory of you at the reserve. Thanks again for joining us for the virtual meeting, and stay safe. Thank you.